Standing Chimney is open every Saturday in November from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on the Friday after Thanksgiving from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. For more information, go to facebook.com/standingchimney. Also, a special shout out to Todd Coopy, author of Lightbulb Baking. You can find the book Lightbulb Baking at lightbulbbaking.com and his website Toy Tales at toytales.ca.
Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. And I want to wish you a happy Easy Bake Oven Day. November 4th is Easy Bake Oven Day. This was started by Todd Coopy, who's a toy historian from Canada, and he has an incredible collection of information on toys. Just amazing. He has a website called Toy Tales and a book called Lightbulb Baking about Easy Bake Ovens and the history of Easy Bake Ovens. And pictures, really beautiful pictures of all the Easy Bake Ovens, which sounds funny, but I do like them. So,
and I mean, the pictures are beautiful because we actually reached out to him way back in 2016 on Twitter to ask if we could use the picture of the original Easy Bake Oven as our logo.
He very kindly allowed us to use it. So that's been our podcast logo since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I actually own an original Easy Bake Oven in that beautiful blue color that they were, which is the exact one that I had when I was a child, age 4. I got an Easy Bake Oven for something, probably, I don't even know if it was Christmas or my birthday. I would guess Christmas. It was probably like a huge Christmas present then. But I had this Easy Bake Oven, which we'll be sharing a picture of. And I had to find it on eBay, so I bought myself an Easy Bake Oven. I buy myself a lot of little toys that I had as a child on eBay. So,
but we're going to have a secondary Playmobil podcast soon.
Yeah, this was a fun thing to get. Easy Bake Oven Day is a day to celebrate the Easy Bake Oven, hopefully to bake something with your Easy Bake Oven if you have one. Or get one for your child or grandchild. It's a great gift idea. And for myself, I have wonderful, wonderful memories of baking with my Easy Bake Oven. And especially, and it's so funny because I know I was not yet 5. And I remember the Easy Bake Oven was set up on the table and I was making things in it. I literally I swear I made every single mix that was in the box and fed them to my dad. Okay. I distinctly remember making a thing, taking it to my dad eating it, making another thing, taking it to my dad eating it. Subsequently, in later years, my dad became a diabetic, and I'm hoping that wasn't the fault of me and my Easy Bake Oven. But that's been my life. Throughout my life, I made stuff for my dad that he liked and enjoyed, different kind of desserts. When he was a diabetic, I started getting into baking sugar-free things for him and whole grain things for him. And it's kind of how I started my business, really, baking healthier breads for him and muffins and desserts that he could eat because he was a dessert guy. And he was also a person who enjoyed working out and running all the time. So he would run off all those calories. Anyway, that's sort of my little Easy Bake Oven history. So I got my Easy Bake Oven in about 1965. The Easy Bake Oven was created in 1963 by the Kenner Toy Company of Cincinnati, Ohio. And it was very popular at the time. It was one of those post-war things because during World War II, when most of the dads, young men in the country were serving in the military, the women went into the factories, the younger women, and there were not moms at home. There were grandmas at home. A lot of kids were home alone, but there weren't moms at home. So after the war, when the dads came home, when the young men came home and took those jobs back, the women went into the home and became homemakers, and all these things started being marketed in the late 40s through the 50s and 60s. They all started to be marketed to these housewives who hadn't been home for a while. So that whole idea of homemaking and appliances and easy use and all that was really coming of age at that time. So here comes the Easy Bake Oven in 1963. This is for little kids to learn how to cook, to get a chance to cook and bake on their own. And really, as I said, when I did this when I was 4, you could do this without a lot of supervision. You know, an adult could tell you to put that tablespoon of water into that tiny bowl of mix that you got there and stir it up and pour it in. But you could pretty much, once you did it a couple times, you could pretty much do it on your own. That's something that girls and boys enjoyed. So it was a nice toy for the family, very popular. In the light bulb baking book, Todd Coopy talks about that, like how that idea of this came along for the interest in homemaking and that sort of thing. So it's really kind of interesting to think about it. But what a fabulous toy, because really, probably almost every family in the United States has at one time or another owned an easy bake oven. I mean, and it's incredible the amount that were sold. It has changed over the years. My kids had an easy bake oven that looked kind of like a microwave. We actually still have it.
Yeah, it was white plastic, and you would put these pink and purple stickers on it.
Yeah, and it was a more modern version, and it sold. Usually, the mixes are made by Betty Crocker, probably still. I don't know that for sure, but they came with all sort of little cake mixes and icing mixes and cookie mixes and muffin mixes, all sorts of things that you could make simply by mixing that mix with water.
I think ours actually came with a recipe book too, because I remember there was a little booklet that's how you
Oh,
could
yeah.
mix up stuff yourself.
Right. And all the little tools are there in the bowls and everything. Now, they still make an easy bake oven, but now the easy bake oven has heating elements in it because we no longer have incandescent light bulbs easily available. My easy bake oven required two 100-watt light bulbs, one on the top, one on the bottom, to heat up the oven and cook your food. And it's amazing that cooking with a light bulb, it's just amazing. I mean, people build easy bake ovens now, like you can build them out of paper. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. But it's crazy to think about that. Two little 100-watt light bulbs, and you could bake a little cake in there. So now they come with a heating element, which actually works better. You can still do the same thing. You can mix up your little stuff and bake it. And my kids had a little donut thing you could make donuts in. So there's a lot of fun, a lot of options you can do. So the reason we wanted to do this podcast, first of all, is because our logo is the Easy Bake Oven. Secondly, because we enjoy Easy Bake Ovens. But third, they make a great gift for your kids to do something that they can kind of do independently, because there's not a lot that kids nowadays can do independently that is not a computer, So this is a fun thing. It's a fun gift to get your kids. It's a fun thing you can do with them. And you think, oh, those mixes are so expensive. Ha ha. Well, the old Easy Bake Oven trick was to make your own mixes up. This is so easy, very economical, and really doesn't take a lot of time. So what you do is you get a regular box cake mix of your choice, whatever kind you use, whatever's on sale. Okay, a regular size box cake mix. What you do is you open it up and you sift it really well, because cake mixes tend to be kind of clumpy. So you want to sift that into a bowl, sift it really well. You're going to measure a 1/4 cup of the cake mix as exactly as you can. So spoon the cake mix into your 1/4 cup measure, scrape off the top with a knife so it's very level, and dump those into little sandwich bags or snack size bags. And those are the size of an Easy Bake Oven cake mix. It's a 1/4 cup of mix. Okay? What you can do, if you want to make these even for a gift for your child or something to go along with their Easy Bake Oven, you can print little labels out with the instructions. So say it's a chocolate cake mix. You put Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker chocolate cake mix on there. Add 2 tablespoons of water. Mix well. Spread into greased pan and bake for 17 to 20 minutes in your Easy Bake Oven. Allow it to cool and decorate it. That's it. You can get about 6 or 7 cake mixes, I think, out of one box. So it's very economical, because especially if the cake mixes are on sale, it's a really neat thing to do, and it's a great gift to go along with the Easy Bake Oven. Now, for icing and decorations, you can get the smaller containers of sprinkles or whatever, and you just use your regular sprinkles. But what about the icing? It's so easy to make a little tiny amount of icing. This is all you have to do. Once you tell your child how to do this or do this with them, they'll be able to figure it out themselves and measure this out themselves. But what you want to do is take a teaspoon of soft butter, put it in like a teacup or a bowl the size of a teacup that holds about 1 cup. So put your soft butter in there, and you're going to add 1 cup of sifted powdered sugar, a fourth teaspoon of vanilla, and a teaspoon of milk at a time. Stir that up, and that will make just a tiny small amount of icing to ice your cake with. So, depending upon how you measure, I know how I measure, and it's not super accurate on the powdered sugar, but that's how you make just a little tiny bit of icing. So that way, you can teach your kids how to do that. If you want to make chocolate icing, you would add a teaspoon of cocoa powder to this and mix it well in with your powdered sugar before you add it. And then you have chocolate icing. So it's very simple. And this is something might be a little bit messy, but you know what? Your kids aren't going to be kids forever. And making a mess, who cares? You know what I mean? Your house isn't a museum, and it shouldn't be a museum. You should live in it and enjoy it and let your kids enjoy it. So this is a really fun thing to do. Nice for them to be able to do because it gives you a sense. You know how baking, I mean, when I bake something and it comes out nice and I enjoy it and it tastes good, it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And that's what having an easy bake oven can do for kids too. And like I said, kids enjoy baking anyway. You should be baking with your kids. I don't want to yell at everybody, but goodness gracious, make cookies with them anyway. But this is a fun thing to do that's sort of like independent. Now, I wanted to tell you how to use my mix in an easy bake oven. Easy bake ovens usually come with a little muffin pan, and you can use Bisquick to make little muffins, or you could make your own little muffin mix. But you can also use a Mary Mac Bakehouse muffin mix, which has oatmeal in it and oat bran and is a little bit healthier than a regular muffin mix. So what you want to do with your little mini muffin pans, and in an easy bake oven, you have to make sure that you grease your pans well. So the kids can either use spray-on shortening, but that can be kind of messy. So it's a little bit easier to just use a paper towel and some regular solid shortening to grease the pans. Grease the pans well, and then what you want to do is measure a 1/4 cup of muffin mix, and this is how you would do it. You would open up a muffin mix, whatever you're going to use, even if it's a Bisquick or something like that. Take some of the take the muffin mix, for example, if you're using mine, dump the whole muffin mix into a bowl and stir it up really well. And then scoop a 1/4 cup muffin mix out of that and level it off, just like the cake mix. Put it in a bowl and add a teaspoon of oil and 2 tablespoons of water and mix well. Scoop it into the muffin tins, which would require about a teaspoon rounded up, a measuring teaspoon, not like the kind you eat cereal with, but a measuring teaspoon of the muffin mix into the pan and then bake it. And it should be perfect. It's kind of one of those things though, when you're using a baking mix like a muffin mix, if they sometimes rise a little higher. I remember doing this with my kids where they get like squished coming out through the slot, the easy bake oven. One thing when you're using an easy bake oven, it's really important to preheat it. So if you have an old light bulb oven, you'll need to preheat it for 20 minutes because you need it to be nice and hot. Now, you can still get incandescent bulbs, but it's really hard to get the right kind because they can't be a soft white and they can't be energy efficient. So if you go to a light bulb website, you should be able to find the bulbs for your easy bake oven if you have an older model. If not, and you're buying an easy bake oven, you don't have to worry anymore because they have a heating element. So there you go. That's our Easy Bake Oven Day episode. Go buy an easy bake oven.
And make sure to check us out online on Facebook and Instagram at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on Twitter at Mobile Mary Mac and Mary Mac Podcast, and on our website, marymacpodcast.com. You can find Todd Coopy at lightbulbbaking.com and toytales.ca. That's TOYTALES.ca.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you. Happy Easy Bake Oven Day.